Hi, welcome to StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 250.
250.
Yeah. Seems like we raced to that 200 and it's been like
years
to get to that 250. Yes. Well, now that it's been almost a month since we were recorded,
yeah,
I turned over another year on the little odometer. It was cold and then it was warm and now it's getting cold again. We were excited that Vikings were going to be in the Super Bowl, and then we weren't excited about it. It was like, oh, there are the Vikings that I know and love. And they came back. Yay! But I know there's a lot of Patriots fans and Eagles fans out there. Yep. So
starting to pour into our fair city as well.
Yep.
Our state.
Yep. Yep. And of course we have an accent. We have a Minnesota accent.
I'm sure we do.
Yes. I have a couple of coworkers. Thursday is a non-school day. And they're taking their kids up to the Super Bowl Center or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, in the city center.
More power to them.
I will
be avoiding all things Super Bowl.
Not even gonna watch it for the commercials?
I might watch it for the halftime show because it's in our stadium.
Yeah. And who's performing?
I have no idea.
I knew at one time.
Okay.
And I was excited about it. I was like, oh, that would be good. Now I can't remember it.
Was it JT?
No, it's not Justin Timberlake. I'm pretty certain.
I don't know.
I get excited about things other than Justin Timberlake, just so you know.
That's a good guess, I guess.
Alexa, who's playing the halftime Super Bowl?
In Super Bowl 52, the Patriots will play the Eagles this Sunday at 5:30 p.m.
That's not
It'll be on NBC.
Well, that was all very useful, but she did not answer. She just told us who was playing on what channel.
Oh, but did we say the halftime show?
I did. I
Oh,
said
okay.
who's playing the halftime in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But anyway, she's
That's
good
part
at
of
certain
it.
things. Other things she's not so great at. I just thought instead of having to pick up my phone to look. But anyway, I have an obscene amount. I mean, I'm just saying obscene amount of yarn to show off, and we've got some wonderful reviews that people have very kindly sent to us and to share with you. So I've got a lot of FOs. So I'm just gonna shut my trap.
Okay.
Anything that you wanted to highlight, to talk about, excitingness? Your daughter had a birthday as well.
Yes.
And your husband had a birthday.
Daughter had a birthday. My husband had a birthday. Got through that all while being on a macros diet and trying to go back to CrossFit more often. So, I mean, I was still going fairly often, but it was getting down to 2 days a week when, life got pretty darn busy there at the end of the year, as it always does. And so I recommitted, as we always do. But I'm sticking with it. This Friday is the end of my month, and I will get to do a new body scan. So I will find out if my lean body mass ratios have changed, which is what we're going with, not the weight. We're going for more muscle, nice and lean, less fat. So
And muscle weighs more than fat.
and
as
it does.
We all know.
And it does. So they're, not trying to hit a scale goal. We're trying to hit a percentages goal. And, I don't know.
My sugar journey went well. I survived a birthday without sugar, or a lot of sugar. And I got over, it took me about 10 days before I quit feeling nauseous, and I don't remember at what day I was. Well, it was pre-birthday when we recorded, so it would have been before the 7th last. I was feeling pretty miserable at that point. And I got over it, and people were like, aren't you so tempted? And I'm like, no, because I have to go through that again. But I think that's worse. The feeling bad was worse than the good that sugar tastes and feels like, right? So, yeah, I'm sticking with it. It was a little challenging at the January thaw this past weekend because I hadn't been eating out a lot, and I'm not as any new thing that you're doing, you're a little more trepidatious, right? Like Carla was around, and she's done for the last year a low sugar journey, and I don't know why I always say journey, but you know, everybody's got a journey, I guess. And she was like, wow, you're way more strict than I am. And I was like, I just don't have an idea. I don't have a concept, right? So when I go get sushi, I want to ask, like, does the sauce have sugar in it? Does, you know, anything that you're putting in there, is it pretty... Figured out that seaweed salad is pretty sugary because I ordered it and I took one bite and I was like, whoa.
Well, yeah, when you're off sugar, you can tell when things have sugar. So that could be a good indication. Although that's terrible when you order a whole thing of it and you're like, your first bite, you're like,
yeah, I gave it to the table, but yeah, no, I felt bad. I was like, well, I guess I asked, and they didn't say that the dressing had a lot of sugar in it, but I could sure taste it. So. Anyway, yep, and then I went to Sun Valley Fibers, the January thaw this past weekend, and that was a lot of fun. But I'm trying to be expeditious because, again, I have so much stuff. So for Administrati, I've had quite a few people ping me, and I think there might be a couple people out on the threads. You may have noticed that I did not open a self-striping thread for 2018. And I'm in the past we've been super excited about that KAL, and I guess it's starting to feel a little old hat to me, right? Like, I don't know if everybody is as excited or if they're already doing other self-striping KALs and they're just kind of joining in. The prizes are kind of hit or miss. And so I wanted to kind of try to mix things up this year. And after doing a pair of socks a week, and, I've continued to knit a lot of SKUs the next year, 2017. I have a ton of scraps, just a ton, like an obscene amount, like several shopping bags full. And I've had people contact me and offer to take that off of my hands, but I really truly want to either knit my daughter socks or knit things with them because I really love the yarn. And I'm not a huge like blanket knitter, I guess. Like I knit the one and I kind of tired myself out on it early. So this year I was thinking that we could do a scrap-along KAL, which would be run similar to the self-striping KAL. But the caveat to that is that the project has to be greater than 50 grams and it has to have at least 2 component yarns in it. So if you knit a color cat, for example, and it was over 50 grams, and you use 2 colors in that. Or if you knit a pair of self-striping socks and you have heels and toes, there would be 2 distinct yarns in it, and it would be greater than 50 grams. And much like the self-striping, you get 1 entry a month, and once January's done, you can play catch up if you didn't get an entry in for January, and you do 2 in February. And if you're really going at like a sock blanket, or a scrap blanket, I think you could, if you continue to add grams to an existing project, I think we'll count that as well.
Okay.
You can get the cumulative there.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say you could either go through your scraps or you could create a lot of scraps by,
doing that.
Doing that.
Yep. And I'm getting to the point where, at least socks, I think I'm now going to have to start coordinating some of my scraps as well, just because her foot's getting wide. Her feet are growing, which is telling me, I think, that her base is getting bigger and she's going to start getting taller, so I should probably get on those leggings. Maybe I'll make it a Ravelinix thing, because that's coming up.
There you go. I think that's a good goal.
To finish them and write it up.
Left.
No, I don't. Finish and write it up.
Write it up would be the
hard part. Yes, because there's a lot of custom fitting that goes along with legs. Arms, you would think, oh, that's pretty complicated, but no. Nowhere near as complicated as something that you don't want to fall down into a puddle on your legs or restrict your ability to move because of their tightness. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sorry for anybody that cast on some self-striping socks in January thinking that we were just going to keep on continuing that. But I'm excited about mixing things up. I think it's fun to do the same thing over and over again, a la my SKUs. But it's also fun to mix things up. And I knit some SKUs this month out of some scraps as well. Look at me. I was participating in the KAL and didn't even know it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's also a lot of different sock knit-alongs where there aren't very many restrictions on the quality, what do I want to say? doesn't have to be self-striping, and it doesn't have to be started in a given month or whatever. There's a lot of those out there, so
yep. If you're still interested, yeah,
find those.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. I have a little bit of guilt about it again because I know somebody specifically that cast on for it and was like, oh, you're not gonna have it when I was talking to them this weekend. But I guess when I don't have the outlet to communicate. Because we're not podcasting as often. I'm normally an over communicator. That's my bag baby. Other exciting goings on. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have saw. So Leading Men Fiber Arts and Three Irish Girls and Telly Bee Knits and Paper Daisy Knits and iRock Knits and Just Run It. We all collaborated on a really fun MCAL, and if you're into MCALs, this one is unlike any other that you've done because there's 4 designers involved, which I can tell you is much more complicated to get a comprehensive look than just doing it yourself. So a lot of collaboration had to happen, but I'm super proud of the end product. And I really love the yarn that the dyers came up with. I think Leading Men Fiber Arts may have already sold out of their kits, but I haven't checked on Three Irish Girls. And so that KAL starts February 14th, Valentine's Day, and you'll get a clue a week, which is super exciting. The kits get a copy of the pattern, or you can just go out and sign up on Ravelry. There is a coupon code, I believe it is LOVE, to get 20% off. So
what are the yarn requirements if they're pulling from their scrappies?
That's a good point. I believe that each of the 4 colors that are involved in the CAL are less than 50 grams.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember how much my final finished object weighed, minus one of the clues. I'm still working on it. Albeit I wasn't the last clue, I guess. I just revealed. So yes, no, super proud of it, super excited about that. Another collaboration I have going on with Leading Men Fiber Arts is they are putting together some color work combos. You'll see in some of my finished objects that with the color work combos, they're dramaturg in 2 colors. You can get a hat and a pair of mittens out of it. And those are going live on February 1st, he said, on Thursday. And I got to hand, it was so much fun. I was like a kid in a candy store. They have a document that has all of their colorways in it. And I went out and I took screenshots and I put it into my little graphic editing software and I put them next to each other and then I downloaded it on my phone and I looked at the black-white combo. And some of them are very Valentine's Day-y, which again you'll see in my finished objects. And some of them are a little more subtle. And so I'm super excited about them. Cool. I think he said he'll have those up until Valentine's Day. And my pattern will be going live somewhere around Valentine's Day. And make sure you follow me on Instagram because I think I'm going to have a really fun coupon code for it.
Okay.
Yes, but all of those details are yet to be announced or finalized. And then I think that's all the Administrati I had to talk about.
Do the kits have your pattern in them?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you buy the kit, you don't need to buy the pattern, right?
Oh, you mean the
bee?
The bee? No, those will not. So
okay.
You will still need to go out to to Ravelry
I was
and
just
purchase
curious
that.
if I went to shop the yarn.
Yep.
If I still needed to go look for your coupon code.
You will.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
It's you can just get 2 pretty colors if you wanted.
Right. But
and then
these are
slate them.
These are pre-coordinated by you and Steve.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a fun little. Hey, wouldn't it be fun? Because I love your colors. So yep. But yes, it's not kitted up with the actual pattern in that instance. The MCAL is.
Okay.
But the Be Mine hats and mittens that you will see later is not.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That was a lot.
It was, and I felt like I talked a lot, and it's not really easy to shamelessly self-promote, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I talk really fast and try not to, because
Well,
it's not human nature is to not, I guess.
the love bug, or
Be mine.
or be mine.
Yeah.
Was cute.
Thank you.
I already saw it on the grams.
You did. You spied it in my little finished object photo.
I did. Although I said it was a love bug.
Yes. Well, I'm a sucker for puns, and so be mine. Yep, I know.
Love bug.
Be mine.
Too literal, apparently.
I don't know. Did you do a prior art search? Is
I
there
don't know.
already a love bug hat?
I did not do prior art search. Sorry.
I'm telling you. Okay. Finished objects?
Okay. Assigning us to teams has given me anxiety.
Anxiety?
Well, because I gotta keep up with you.
You don't. Our teams have to keep up with each other.
But I don't know. I feel like people are gonna be looking to me to keep up with you.
Amy is such a slacker.
So I finished my January DVD 4th annual sock kit or club. I'm excited that gets me my check mark for 10% off at her shop. I'm going to try to get through the first 6 months because I do have enough yarn for that.
And you did that last year as well, right?
I did do that
You're
last
just a
year.
half-year commitment type of gal.
I am. So, and this is OMG Heel, and then I kind of did the fun thing on the front myself. I don't have any plans to do anything with it, but that was just me playing with stuff while I was knitting.
It's fun. So I likes it.
And then I test knit for Alexis Winslow. And these are the dad mitts. I want to say there's more to that name than dad mitts. But these are coming out tomorrow probably.
Super pretty yarn.
Yeah, this yarn is Marigold Jen in the Papa Smurf colorway. So it is super fun. The cabling and texture is really cool on this, and it was simple for me. I did give it kind of an intermediate when she asked how difficult the pattern was. But for me, it was fairly straightforward. And then the pattern will have a mitts, like fingerless mitts, mittens, and then little fingerless gloves with the flap, all in one pattern.
Wow.
So I just chose my adventure of mittens, but you could choose differently. I added quite a bit to the cuff. Her pattern, as written, would take out about 2 inches here, but personal preference.
I'm a big fan of the long mitts.
Yeah.
Because the coat doesn't, there's often a little wind that gets in there, yeah. A little breeze.
So, but I think in the mitts version, she did have you elongate the bottom half because you're expected, I guess, to wear mitts indoors or something. But here, those are. That
super cool.
Seemed to go by really quickly, so I enjoyed that pattern very much.
Is that in that DK weight or worsted?
That was worsted.
Okay. Yeah, worsted go even faster.
Yeah. I think you could do it in DK, but I'm pretty sure the pattern was worsted. And I apologize. It was a test knit, and I did finish those over a week and a half ago, so I don't know. There's ends falling out of this, and for that I apologize. But I made a cowl.
It's reverse stockinette cowl?
What was this cowl?
Getting warmer?
Yeah, probably the getting warmer. Sounds right. It's supposed to be out of bulky yarn. It's kind of a chunky yarn. So just a step down from that. I knit on it. I couldn't quite conceive doing more of the ribbing before starting the decreases just because of the amount of yarn I had. But I used some alpaca that I had gotten as a gift up to here, and then some leftovers. So I got a scrappy item for the year as well.
Look at you.
What's that?
Pre-participating in the KAM.
I know. I'm not sure how much I like the colors together. So we'll see if this remains knitted. And I think that's mainly why the ends aren't woven in yet, because I'm trying to decide whether I want to bring this back down and finish it differently without the maroon in it. So that it goes back to being mostly just the snowy pink and blue color.
Did you run out?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I had the two full skeins of this yarn, and it wasn't enough. So
ate it quick.
It
ate
did.
It up quick.
It really did.
Huh.
So I am still curious about whether or not this is going to stay in this form or not. But it was knitted. It was finished and weighed for the KAL.
Fun. Yeah, you are really motivated, huh?
I am. It was heavy yarn, and then I started a giant homespun blanket that
and that's the ZKKAL when we're talking about teams. We still have the scrap one, and then the birthday kit KAL that's going on here in January and February within our group. I think we may need to open a actual FO thread.
Oh yes.
For that, as well as I still have not drawn for the All-Stars. Sorry to encroach in on FOs, but super excited about that. Had a concept that I thought was super fun, and have commissioned the yarn, and it should be ready in a couple of weeks here, and so I'll be able to draw the winner. I can pre-announce that it is through Mint Rain Yarns. I love her self-striping. My static zings are out of her self-striping. That beautiful green and purple. Anyway, all of that to say that I'm not talking about my FOs.
Yeah. My blanket is at home, and it will stay at home.
Well, it's not finished.
until it's done, because it is a laundry basket full of yarn.
So I think I already talked about the bee mitts. I think I called them the blue bees. But this is out of Ice Ice Baby and Baby. It's cold outside, and this is the smaller size in the pattern, which is keeping you with the same smaller needle size that you use on the ribbing. So there's those, and then out of that same skein, I was able to get the hat. So it's got the main bee, and then the hearts. I was messing around with the number of repeats, so I didn't have a multiple of 16 to do the crown as I've done it on the others, so that the crown doesn't quite look like it is in the final pattern here, because I didn't have the right number of stitches. But again, I got, I think when I wear it, I want to have the bee to the side. I think my bee belongs on the left side for some reason. I don't quite know why. But then, while I was there, I picked up some Renaissance, I believe was the colorway. Why can't I find? Oh, I threw it in here. Yeah. The January thaw. I picked up some Renaissance. I believe they have a lot of really, Sundial Fibers has a lot of really new jewel tones. Really pretty. And I combined it. Well, I bought another thing of blue that looked really pretty when I took the photo, but it didn't pop quite as well as this Ice Ice Baby. So I had enough of the Ice Ice Baby, even after this and this, to knit a whole nother set of mitts, so the contrast color on this. And so then I knit the larger size, which is a little big on my hand. These are a little more, they're harder to get on, but I feel like I'm less like clunky, I guess, with them. So it's that same bee and heart motif, and then the honeycomb on the underneath. Lots of hearts, lots of bees. On some of these, the bee has a pointy stinger, and some of them they have a blunt stinger. And I went in the pattern with a blunt sting, or with the pointy stinger. I like that better. But it was in the decision mode at the time. So I finished all of those, and again, the pattern should be coming out sometime around Valentine's Day. I'm eager to get it out there, but it's being test knit, and I'm getting some great comments on how to make things more clear. And yeah, I want it to be around Valentine's Day again for my little fun marketing promotion. But I didn't have red and pink specifically in my stash, but I did have scraps. And so this is Steady Beat by Leading Men Fiber Arts, held double. And this is Camel City Dye Works and a light pink that was part of my fishy socks from Infinite Twist, held double. Because it was a mini skein, and so it's very scraptastic. But I really like kind of it gives it almost like a shimmer, because the pink isn't solid and the red isn't solid. And here's that crown as it should be. The hearts go up into a point. I think it's fun. And this one was a fun one to knit because everybody would walk by, and even if they didn't like necessarily the colorwork pattern, which they all did, they all liked the color combo. So it was a fun one to knit. And it was fun to use up those scraps. So yes, this is the Be Mine hat, and those are the Be Mine, and that's BEE, because I'm funny like that. Hat, and that will be available soonly. I also finished the Rolling Rock. This is using Copper Corgi, her sport weight, and I was thinking I might put buttons on it. It's a faux button band. You just end up sewing it all together on the back side. But I wore it at the January fall. It's just like this, and I kind of like it. I feel like maybe the buttons might be distracting. I'm a big fan of Henley's. I don't quite know why. I think maybe it's for the very reason that very busty people might not like it. I like it because it kind of draws attention that I have like a waist and a line there where you wouldn't normally if you didn't have a little breaking point there. So I sewed that together and really like it, and I don't know that I'll put buttons on it. But again, the front is not the part that you really look at. The lace is really fun and pretty. And that was a sweater quantity I believe I got from the Loopy U probably 3 years ago. It was a long time ago. And a pattern that I've had in my queue, and the pattern bought for quite some time. So I finished that. Also, while at the retreat, Miss Carla had gone and gotten the Lion brand component colors for the True North toque. And she cast one on and finished it, and while the ball of gray was sitting in the middle of the table, she's like, well, I've got spare needles because I didn't want to magic loop. And I was like, I love to magic loop. And she's like, well, cast one on. So I cast on the gray, and then I waited for her to get done with the color work. And then I started the color work. Well, lo and behold, her hat didn't fit her. It was too small. And I was like, well, that'll fit on my head. And she's like, there's no way it'll fit on your head. It's going to be a cat cozy. And I'm like, it'll fit on my head. Have you not watched the podcast? And so then mine went to her, but she had done what the pattern called for, which was, I can't remember how many stitches in the round. Well, I shouldn't say it anyway because it's a paid for pattern. But you just sphincter closed up the whole lot of the hat at the very top. And you have a hole, and then you're supposed to put a pom-pom on it. Well, I'm not much of a pom-pom person, so I created crown decreases for mine when I gave it to her. And then I ripped out the very top of hers and did crown decreases for this one as well. So then, and then after I got done with my ribbing, Laura cast on hers, and hers she did a super long brim, so it's folded over and super warm. Like I'm getting really warm just wearing it right now, even though it's it's woolies. So it's acrylic, primarily acrylic, but some wool. And then Corey was last but certainly not least, and we got 4 hats out of that bad boy.
It looks thick and quick.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I can't remember how long, like nobody started a timer. But it was like zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah, and that's that buffalo plaid. So it's super fun and super easy once you get the first 2 colors transitioned. to just do over and over and over again. And then Jackie was knitting hers out, doing the modification that Amber did with worsted.
Mm.
And she did hers in that buffalo color, and then she also did Packers colors. And I think other people were picking out Vikings colors. And last but certainly not least, before I left, I think I finished these up. I definitely posted them in the KL thread before I left. I decided that I had enough to do to do a pair, but I didn't think I had enough to do a solid in both of one of the colors. Like, I would have to use equal parts of both in both socks, and I wanted to do thick and thin stripes. So I set out to do something different. I knit the same pattern, but I ended up making inversed socks. So this one has 4 rows of the solid teal and 2 rows of the variegated, and this one's got the opposite. And it's super fun. I can't wait to wear them. I mean, I know that they're not matching socks are kind of a thing, but these are matching in an unexpected way.
Sure are.
They are, and I use scraps. Ding ding.
New KLs. Ding ding.
Ding ding. We're
Have
on.
you thought out a hashtag yet for your Scrappy Cow?
Well, on some of my things, I use Scrappy Happy. So we could be the Scrappy Happy KAL.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to think in hashtags these days, huh?
We do.
Yep. All right, what you working on there? Well, you're tinking something.
Yeah, I found out that I had dropped 2 stitches on this, and I tried to pick them up, and it was not happening. So I am going back the 4 rows that is required to make this work out. And I had already unknit this a couple times because it was, what's the word? Too big.
Okay, that is a word.
Enormous.
Ginormous.
So I was knitting away happily on this at the required stitch count for a large, and got through 2 balls of yarn into the bottom part, because it's one of those yokes that you have to start with the sleeves and the body. And yeah, I looked up and went, whoa, this is huge.
Is your gauge off?
Probably. I don't look at gauge very much. So, when I measured it, actually, it was only 2.5 inches off of the written. And so I was like, oh, I didn't want that much positive ease. So, and 2.5 inches off is pretty far off. Yeah. So, I ripped back and I to the ribbing, because that looked like it was good, and then took out stitches to become a medium and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to redo the arms, and I tried the arms on and they're fine. So I don't know what it was about the body, and I
generally knit tighter when I have a smaller circumference object. So maybe your sleeves fit because your gauge was a little tighter and maybe spot on. You think so?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. They look very similar though.
They do. What's the yarn? What's the pattern? Tell me more.
It is the Heartstone.
That's right.
And it is Rowan hemp tweed.
That's right. You challenged me to go find some if I wanted to.
And then I also started the frise.
I think I might say frise.
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 Shawl.
Frise?
Frise.
Ooh.
So it's green on green, but I decided after I got going that you can see the striping that is happening with the 2 different greens. I had sent Megan a picture going, is this enough contrast? But I've decided that I'd rather have a subtle shawl at the end of this than something that's a little cuckoo. So I have pretty. But it's getting to the point where it's long, and I want to knit on this because it'll count towards our KL, but there's a new love in town that has piqued my interest. So I need my mom, if she is watching, to turn away because this is for her. And she already knows about the yarn, so if she knows about the pattern, it's not going to be any sort of surprise at all. So you can come back later. But I am doing the stag's head pullover, but in a pillow. So I am through to his ears, and I am having a blast knitting away on this giant, complicated pattern of cables and texture. I think that having that bigger picture pattern in the cabling is just, I don't know, it's making it really fun and exciting.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm to his
ears.
ears.
You want more of it to be revealed. It's kind of like color work, right? You want to see the next thing.
So I have been in love with this, so I cast it on and knit through the first ball of yarn very quickly. And I've attached the second ball of yarn and have knit even more. I can't wait. So I think when this gets done, it'll stretch out to at least an 18-inch pillow. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
it'll be a good size.
We've got Ellie's emoji pillow over here. Or no, that's not Ellie's emoji pillow. It's the, I wonder what size this one is. Did it fit in there? Oh, you've got the...
I got needles.
Smaller needles.
I've got needles on there, so it won't stretch it out.
Yeah. Fit the bottom. Yeah.
So it'll be a good size pillow.
Yeah.
At least this size. I'm excited by this, and it's keeping me super motivated. But it is one of those reading the chart.
Yeah.
Reading the chart.
Make sure that you're
the back side is memorized already, but the front side with the complicated antlers, like even the face, I got pretty good at anticipating what was next. But yeah, now that I'm on the antlers, it's like every which way.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to see this immediately. And I left that pattern at home, so I can't work on it even if I wanted to.
Well, that's one way to stop yourself from knitting something.
I know, right?
Have it be a super complicated pattern and then not.
And then my DVD for next month is If They Killed Daryl. And it's green, and it's going to be husband socks. So the big socks in February, once again. I don't know why I do that to myself.
Because it's short. It's 28
I know,
days.
that's what I'm saying. I'm doing the bigger socks. Why? Just how it works out.
Okay.
That's it. That's all that I got.
All right. My work's in progress. I've got a few designs in flight, including those leggings that still need to be knit. But of course I'm in a horrible place now. I bought, because it was super economical, I literally had nothing in my sweater quantity stash, which is a number larger than I can say aloud, and I don't know, like, that I feel comfortable saying out loud. I can say lots of numbers out loud that are higher than the number of my sweaters quantities, but I did not have any that have 1,700 yards. So it's a super long cardigan. It's the portage cardigan, and it's got super big pockets, which are kind of doubled up in the front, so you can stow things, and a huge shawl collar. So I have no doubt that I'm going to use all of the 1,700 yards that it required, but I didn't have anything in my stash, and Three Irish Girls have a super economical, their Springvale DK. And so I went out and purchased this one, which is When Doves Cry. It's again, I hope our video qualities are improving, but it's a very kind of subtle gray with pops of pink and purple in it. And I really wanted that pop and variegation because of the twisted texture section on the back, which I really just look at. The speckles are just like popping in there. I kind of cheated, and the first maybe couple of inches I wasn't alternating skeins, but I knew that some of them were going to differ a lot. I kind of like to do that stagger start because if you immediately start alternating, then you get to where you're switching over again, and you might have a line because you're putting in 2 new ones right at the same time. So if you stagger, you knit a ways with the one, and then you start switching back and forth and wait until the other one runs out. But yeah, it feels like I started it after I finished some of the bee knitting at Sun Valley, and it feels like I got to the sleeve separation pretty quickly, zoom zoom. As with most of these open cardigans that have the big shawl collar, it goes pretty quickly after you get the sleeves off of the needles, because a lot of the width gets knit on later. So the fronts look kind of skinny right now, right? Like, but nope. There's going to be a lot of material there by the time I get to the end, and I just love this. Kelly and Aaron included a little card with the order that said "Get down with your bad self," because it's a Prince-inspired colorway. When Doves Cry. I just keep on showing them the lace or the textures. Look at the textures. Isn't it beautiful? Kind of like your stag head, right? Like I find myself going like doing that thing the yarn hoarder told us not to do if we wanted to be efficient. Isn't it gorgeous? I just love it. I'm admiring it over and over again. Couldn't be happier with this colorway and this pattern combination. And I believe the Portage Cardi KAL, as it's out on Instagram, is wrapping up February 1st. But they do have prizes for works in progress, which I thought was kind of a cool idea. So it took me a little while to get my yarn picked and my yarn dyed up, because they dye to order and my yarn shipped to me. And then I didn't immediately cast it on, although I think I just got the yarn like mid last week, and I did cast it on last weekend. So that's pretty close. I mean, it did not marinate in my stash for very long.
Right.
As opposed to some of my other sweater quantities, like that copper corgi in the Rolling Rock. That one was in there a good long bit, as they say.
Yeah, I have a lot of sweater dreams, but well, I have one sweater dream, and it's to knit my Amy in 3 Irish Girls. They have a colorway named Amy, and I bought their Springvale Sport. And it's destined to be a hokey garment.
This is just so soft. I'm so like, yeah.
I like my Springvale.
Yeah. And it wears pretty well too, right? Even though it's got a really soft hand.
Yeah, that's the 100% merino one. Yeah. Yep.
Springvale DK. They have a Springvale worsted, and you're saying they also have a sport?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, on that same base. All about that base. All right, so I got my year in review.
I see that.
Yes. I apparently am an Instagram fail. I tried to do like an unboxing video, and you have to live do it, which I was not prepared to do, to be able to do it like completely, or otherwise it has to be cut into 10-second pieces.
Yeah.
And I tried to put software on my phone that would cut it into 10-second pieces, and it was just all around not a good thing. Yeah, it was too many 10-second pieces. But yes, ultimately got some beautiful colors. I can't, if I had to pick my favorite from 2017, what would it be?
Oh, I already know.
You know what yours would be? I really am a big fan of the sea turtle, this one right here. This one is pretty darn fantastic too. So this one is Rumor Has It from May of 2017. Still not the one for
I think it's this one. Yep, King Max.
I do like King Max. That was one that I was tempted to buy. I decided to go with Showstopper this year rather than the BFL base. But then I was going to try to I have a yarn hoarder in the BFL base, the Spotlight base, and I have a yarn hoarder in the Showstopper base, and I was going to try to make a top out of it, and I don't want to mix the bases. Then when I was at the Wisconsin Craft Market, they have Leaning Man Fiber Arts there. And there was a hook where it went, but apparently everybody bought yarn hoarder before I could get to it. That one's another one of my favorites. I really think this one, Independent will make beautiful socks for my husband or my mom, who kind of tends towards these colors. Yeah, Independent will. Yep, Love You to Pieces. I remember that seems like eons ago. The Reese's Pieces inspired one. But yes, it was a box of love. It came in the middle of a really busy work week. Trapdoor. A really busy work week, and I kind of put it off and opened it on a Friday. And again, was a unboxing fail, but you know, it is what it is. And then I got some birthday presents. So I got from Backyard Fiberworks some single ply, which I think will be a really pretty shawl, or could even make, everybody's making tops now out of the single ply, although I would worry a little bit about pilling and shedding, yeah.
My ones that I held double, that one shirt that I made, that turned out pretty good. It's still nice.
Cool. So very much my colors. And it turns out that Amber got these for me at Stitches Midwest last year and sat on them for a good long bit. I've said that now a couple of times this episode. This might just be a good long bit of the episode. This might be a long one too. But super pretty. Absolutely love it. And to have her have found that, and then I got a needle gauge from the Three Irish Girls, as well as I couldn't pass by this Rainbow-tastic with black Sexy MF, because MF used to be my initials. And when I was on a softball team, I asked them if my the back of my jersey could, and I was horrible at softball. I have no eye-to-hand coordination. I'm very good at things that need endurance and foot skills, like soccer, but softball. I wanted to be Crazy MF for my initials, because those were my initials at the time. But they refused to put it on. They put Megs on the back of my jersey. The team captain overrode me. I know, right? I could have a t-shirt that says Crazy MF and my kids could ask me what that means. I could say Crazy Megan Fender.
Yeah.
But yes. Oh, isn't that pretty? And they had a very pretty colorway at the Wisconsin Craft Mart of this too. I can't say enough good things about that Wisconsin Craft Mart.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's like indie centric. Like it's, I don't know that I've been to an LYS that has as many, and they had more than when we were there.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I saw pictures.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you know? You haven't been over there. But yes, here's the rest of my I decided to not carry every single yard that I needed for the, for that garment. What else? So you saw the Renaissance. I also picked out to go with, this was the color that I picked, and they're both just too saturated to go together. You weren't really seeing the color work. So when I combined the lighter blue with it, it popped a lot more. Color theory. I'm getting less and less scared of it. So I have quite a bit left of this, but I decided that I wanted to put this with this in the future. Had some contrast.
That's a standard.
That's standard, yep. And then a darker green. So this is Limerick and Glacier Blue. I thought they would go well together. This is their BFL base, 100% BFL base DK. And then those two. While at Wisconsin Craft Mart, while I was there in indie heaven, I got Black Cat yarns. They are fibers. They are going to be in our market, so yes, this would be bonus if I can knit it up. And did you already look at the colorway? It is dirty knees. Because, you know, grass stains. Doesn't this look like grass stains? I couldn't turn it down, and, you know, it was my greens.
Yeah.
So maybe a top out of that. And they had Utopia there as well. This is their BFL BFF, which I sucker for a good name. Another BFL DK weight tree swallow and citron. And I've got a design in mind for these two bad boys. So, and then So one of my BFL skeins from Jeanette and George, they didn't have a retreat colorway this year. That you could just go pick out any store.
Karen told me that.
Oh, okay. So I thought you would be like, ooh, but no, Karen ruined it. Karen!
She did.
Karen. But they had bags made by your dear mom.
Might have seen these before they were sewn
yes.
together.
A cup, stitch marker, Uber holder. Like,
oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
By Exchanging Fire. Yes. And a notepad. But they had, I think she said, not more than 3 or 4 of the same sheep. So everybody basically had a different one. I asked George who his favorite sheep was, and this is Whimsy.
Whimsy.
Yes, and Whimsy followed him around like a dog until she unfortunately passed away, so it's kind of an in memoriam bag as well. But Whimsy looked like she was a nice sheep.
I need an upgrade.
You need like the Uber case? Like,
I do. I have the little pink one, but I think I'm outgrowing it. I think that would be a good replacement.
Yes, and I got you put out there that you like pins, so, and then people give you pins, and then I bought some as well. So they had the Knit Picks pins at, and they just got them in, they were almost sold out at Wisconsin Craft Mart. So I got Happiness is Handmade, a little ball. And I also got, they had a pin for Sun Valley Fibers, January Thaw. What other one did I get there? Oh, I got the unicorn that was knitting a rainbow.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yes. Also got gifted by Amber, lifetime Yarn Lovers Club member.
I've seen that one.
Yes, I got an owl from Miss Corey, and I switched out. We had quite the lively debate about the backs.
Oh, okay.
People told me that their black little plastic backs stayed on better for them than their pin. And I was like, well, I have
bull honky.
I was like, I have a different use case than yours because I had a bunch of pins and the only ones that fell off of that same side of the bags were the ones. But we had a lively discussion. Everybody's entitled their own opinion.
Yes. Karen told me about the kind that you screw on.
Yes.
And I was like,
those are the Uber Secure.
I should have bought those.
Those are the Uber Secure. Yeah.
And they don't have any snag, other than they themselves are like.
So I think you have to pop, and then you put it on, and then you have to pop it back in, and so there's nothing that can disgage it, I guess, right? Like there's nothing that could accidentally pop it out. That you'd have to pull out the backing of it. But, and then Mr. Matt did a bunch of custom shrinky dinks. So there's my little Just Run It logo and a Knit Cahoots logo. Yes. And a bunch of SSK, Make One Left, little markers, super cute. And then peanut butter and jelly. We go together like peanut butter and jelly. Yes.
With little love.
Yes. So I haven't put those on. I have been putting all of them on my sheep bag, and it's getting a little heavy. It falls over to the side. I can't even. You get too much flare. Too much flare. And I think that might be it. Can you believe it? I know. I do feel like I kind of go for a while, and you're just sitting over there going, what the heck is she doing?
I'm finally getting to the pain point of where I dropped those stitches. So
right.
I think it's one more tinking row, which
we still have review to do. So.
Yes, I have some purchases.
You do too?
Yeah.
Not just me with my obscene amount?
So I had Karen bring me back a book from your lovely retreat where Bristol Ivy was at. So I have Knitting Outside the Box.
Woohoo.
I haven't found the thing that I want to knit yet. But I did find that I loved the Stitch Dictionary in the back of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that beautiful Stitch Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to read more about the shape stuff because everything, where's the thing? There it is. So you can see on the cover of the book, on the inside of the book, she's got just a bunch of different wacky shapes in there, and there's a lot of interstitials about these shapes and how she comes up with them, and then there's one more little, if I can find it, the little picture that goes with some of this. Come on, I know.
While you're doing that, I can say a lot of people took her knitting with refinement and her finishing classes and had nothing to say but wonderful things.
Okay,
that she did an excellent job in those classes. So,
okay. So I would like to read through this. So lots of words, right? But you can see this shading picture of the different shapes. And so it looks like there's going to be a lot of like aha moments in these words. So I'm going to be happy to read through those.
Did she get it signed?
Tidbits. She did.
Ooh.
Let's see.
To Amy.
Yes, Amy.
Here's to the what ifs and the loops of faith.
Leaps of faith.
Loops of faith would work too.
The loops of faith.
I have loops of faith sometimes when I'm casting on things.
And then I had Karen pick me up a fleshy color for my miniatures. Okay, so I was like, well, think peachy, like just peachy should be fine, like, because some of her little baby, I don't know. I was trying to make gnomes and other things, and I didn't have a good, like, face color.
All up in your face.
Unless I went through all my minis. And then I just happened to mention that, well, if you're getting stitch markers from people, I would love some.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mandy provided probably the majority of these. But then other people did too.
I think I got the robot, and I think I got the flying pig.
Yeah.
I got a microscope, not stethoscope.
So I got like at least 4 progress keepers and then a bunch of stitch markers.
Yeah.
So that was
some
nice.
people had some really pretty ones.
And then on to other things that I purchased, but I purchased them, like those were like pre-ordered and purchased for me, like I had a personal shopper. But
I don't do my own shopping. Pish posh.
I was looking at the year in review and feeling kind of like, oh, kind of jealous. I wanted it, but I didn't want it. I wanted it, but I didn't want it. And then I just started thinking, I really want a dramaturg year in review. So I'm starting my own. This is number 1 of my 2018 dramaturg year in review.
You know that you can contact them and they'll do that for you, because my BFL one isn't one that they offer up either. But you want to do it as you're going along.
Yes, I want it to be more like a club. And I also decided that my club needed to have a mini as well. So I have a, basically it's like a $30 a month club plus shipping, that I plan on keep going. And there's 10 colors, right? So it's not a full 12, but plenty of colors. I really liked this one a lot.
It's very pretty.
So, and that is starting point. That is their starting point for 2018. And then a while back,
you're making me feel better. I mean, I do have a huge pile of yarn, but you're making me feel a little better.
Yeah. A while back, Rock and String had, this must have been around Christmas time, and I got it.
Yeah. Coupon code.
Had a huge coupon code, and so each of these self-striping were under $20 each, and so I had to have them. This one was kind of like a fun, if you think of Jovi and Elf together in one thing. Yeah. There's no yellow, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's kind of Christmassy, but not really.
Yeah, like ribbon candy-ish.
Yeah, ribbon candy, things like that. And then this was very like fall rainbow, this one here. And I suppose I should tell you the real colors after saying that. Let's see, we got Merry and Bright. So it is a Christmas colorway, Merry and Bright. And Rustic Rainbow.
Rustic. I think that Rustic Rainbow has been my...
And I liked that it was in 2 different balls. So I was like, oh, okay.
You could make a sock arms.
I think the reason I had to order this one was because I wanted the 2 different twists
to compare.
Yeah, not had to, but like
It was for science.
There were other colorways I wanted, but to get it to ship right now, this Merry and Bright was the one that had, or no, this Rustic Rainbow was the one that had the tighter twist. So So one of the two was chosen because of that. That was, yeah, that's it. So I bought, $70-ish worth of yarn and a lot of book. That's a book. That's a book. That's a book.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
It weighs a lot. I know a lot of people that were buying them at Rhinebeck were probably like, where am I going?
Yeah.
I guess I'm reading this as I go onto the plane.
I saw something on Facebook about somebody not wanting to pay baggage fees, and they put on everything in their suitcase, and they're like, but you still have your baggage. And she was like, you mean my hat? And she wore her bag on her, like her luggage, her suitcase on her head, and walked away. I thought that was really funny. You mean my hat?
My beautiful, luxurious hat. All right, so we've got a little bit of review / enabling / giveaway. So Anne, the Silver Shed USA, has given us this might just be the first prize in the Scrappy Happy, KAL. And along with her little sheep balls, which have been in my cart so many times. I love this print. She's got the scissors we talked about last time, her custom designed scissors.
And you might have seen these other places because they're starting to pop up, but definitely came out of my mom's head and was designed into a scissor. So
they're substantial.
Yeah, these are substantial. I think that the silver ones are a little lighter because they're not coated with the black on them, but not by much. They're both substantial scissors.
So your mom is selling those in her shop?
Yep.
The Kilsmiths. Yep.
She is selling them in her shop, and what was I going to say? Oh, and then we'll probably do a separate drawing for these. So if you would like these, you can go out and enter to win.
Okay.
Enter to win sheepy scissors. We should probably put it out on Instagram too. I mean, along with the other ones.
Yeah.
So that
people can see.
We need to start cross-promoting better on our Instagram, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Just like all the cool kids.
Yes, exactly. We gotta get young.
That was me trying to do like the stories, right? Like I'm like, oh, people are doing these stories. I gotta try to figure out how to do it. And then I felt like I was a million years old.
Yeah.
So how do you do this? I pre-recorded the video. Oh, you can't pre-record the video anyway. So Steph, Knitting Samurai, that we met for the first time at the first SSK. Is now making stitch markers. So she is adorn it. Get it?
Yeah.
Like adorn something? Adorn
Yes.
it. You got it?
I did.
Would it help if I said it again?
No.
Adorn it. Adorn it. And so she sent along some really pretty, she's doing some seasonal. So there's love, I love you. And we didn't open them up, but I assume there's a progress keeper in there, and some pink and purple stitch markers, and quite a few of those little guys. There's also a Luck of the Irish, 4th of July, goodness sakes,
For
St. Patrick's Day, a little 3-leaf clover. Progress, you're not going to be able to see those through the, and then some, I assume what Amy and I will end up taking, some green and purple, really pretty green and purple little yarn balls. So thanks so much to Steph to sending those. We'll have a giveaway and a prize that goes along with that. And if you guys are unable to go out and take a look, she also has 20% off in her shop, which I will link you, Lou, with the code ZOMBIES. It's kind of intuitive.
Yeah.
Just like her name, Adorn It. Steph's Adorn It. Stitch markers and progress keepers. So thanks so much to Steph. I wish her all the luck. Sounds like she is super enjoying making those stitch markers, and you can definitely tell when somebody is enjoying the process.
Yep.
Because I see lots of exclamation points. I use lots of exclamation points and lots of excitement with that. Do you want me to just leave that one out for you?
Sure.
All right.
Great.
Awesome. All right. And then last, we've got a lot of enabling for you this week. But last but certainly not least,
Yes.
We have
a big one.
Yes, this is a big one. This is the Fairmont Bag Co. And they contacted us because they are doing a Kickstarter for their bags that were inspired for the knitter. So what would a knitter want in a knitting bag? And so it's got a large carrying strap. It's got these straps, which I like that aren't little shorties, because I often throw it over. If I only have the one, I often feel like I have to do it crossbody, but if I've got these, it can be on the side and then I can set it down really easy. And it would be very easy to remove the shoulder straps.
Right. Oh, we're losing a light. Oh no, it's
Getting a little darker. Yeah, that was kind of scary.
Yeah. Is it going to burn the house down?
I hope not. I know where the fire extinguisher is. But also some really cool things that are included in this bag is they've got a little, again, it's removable, so if you're not interested in it, but a little pattern tote that you can flip to the outside of your bag and it will stand up for you. I'm enjoying the view, but you guys aren't, so you can flip it here and reference it outside of your bag. And then they also included in they've got the needle gauge that you could probably tuck to the inside. I often have my carabiner keys on this handle, so it could join them. They've got a cell phone pocket. They've got needles and hooks pocket.
Right.
Yeah. They have a yarn wrangler, so you could put your yarn through there and just kind of knit right out of your purse with a snap. And then if you get your little Cosmet cheapy scissors, they've got a protected place where you can put your scissors, so it's extra thick in that area.
A zip pocket.
A zip pocket.
Something for needles or pens.
Yep.
And it really does like stay open.
It does.
Big bucket, and then it does close with those
magnetic closures.
Magnets.
Yep. So yeah, it's wide enough to fit a laptop, a lunch, or gym clothes. I would agree with that. It's got that waxed canvas, so it's super durable. If you're setting it down on a snowy surface, I think it would definitely keep everything dry and nice on the inside. Handmade with vegetable tanned leather. Stitched and together and bonded UV resistant thread for maximum durability. And so yeah, it's super. And then the thing that I absolutely loved that it wouldn't arrive with your bag, but is they've got their color combos as little swatches. So there's
the bag we just showed. You can see that our model has brown on brown, but the model that is coming with the Kickstarter is going to be green.
Brown on green.
Yep.
And then there's a grello, so gray, waxed canvas, and yellow interior.
Yep, and the leather colors change as well.
Yep, and then there's this beautiful navy with a lighter gray and a darker brown handle.
Yeah, so the outside, we'll show the outside
first.
And then the inside.
So yeah, and this is like it's a Kickstarter. So they're trying to get the making of these bags funded. It goes live February 1st, and I will definitely link out to their website, which I think is where the Kickstarter will at least be linked to it. I don't think it will be literally out on Fairmont Bag Co, bag.co. But they have a limited time. The first 100 people that sign up for their Kickstarter. So if you're looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to have that deep blue with the gray interior, you need to go out there ASAP on February 1st because the first 100 backers that select a bag will receive a $25 discount off the Kickstarter price of $175. Yeah. So, yep, you get the bag for $150 if you're in the first 100 people. So that's super exciting. So thanks to Christopher and Caitlin, who are out of, I said it earlier, it's the Rittenhouse Knitting Tote is the name of it, and it's their favorite park in Philadelphia. So if you're a Philite,
those Eagles fans.
Yep, that are watching. And then I do love a good exterior pocket too. There's just lots of pocketses. It's pockety.
Pocketses?
Yep.
like hobbits.
It's very pockety. And I could see that you could get like a nice patina and
Yeah.
wear on that.
Yeah, I like when a coated canvas looks worn. And this one, you know, will end up looking kind of beat up and weathered.
For sure. Are you going to go run it over with your car?
No. I will treat it nicer than that.
Yeah, but it's always fun when a bag maker or any sort of artisan has a knitter in mind, right? Like, it's fun to me to have products that are tailored to our use case.
Right.
Not just finding a bag that will work, but something that is specifically made for our use case. Yeah. Cool. Yes. So yes, thank you to them. And go check that out if you're interested in a nice, sturdy knitting bag to carry around on all of your adventures. So it's not like a display with a little piece of cloth.
Oh, yeah.
For ZK.
So we're moving on to the retreat portion of our...
Oh, we do have a display.
Okay.
We revealed that our theme this year is we're team
LOL
and team love, and that is my most used emoji. I was on the fence because I do a lot of laughing and trying to make people laugh, but if I go through my text, the little heart eyes, that's me.
Mine's a winky face, but
she's got a little to everything.
I do. But I think that means I'm not serious, right? The winky face.
Yeah.
So
JK. Just kidding. Yeah.
So we have our new logo.
So yes, it's not the big like check or anything, but this will be our logo for 2018. And so we've got, she is in love with her friend's sweater yarn, and her friend is very much laughing at herself because she went to go try her sweater on and it's got 3 arms.
3 arms. 3 sleeves, yeah. She's only got 2 arms.
Yeah, I think I would pick up on that because I really hate knitting sleeves, but you know, if you were just in a zen place.
Yeah. You might knit 3 sleeves, but it would be a fun time.
Yes, yep. So our gals are having a good time, and I really do feel that seeing other people's projects, seeing other people's yarns, all the hard eyes at our retreat, and there's just so much laughter and fun. Like everybody is just, the inside jokes overflow, and so yeah, it's very much in the spirit of the program, these emojis.
Yes.
And feeling the feels. We're feeling all the feels this year.
Yes. So we are still doing our team KL, so there's 2 teams. We have decided to join in this year, so I'm on Team LOL, she's on Team Love, and you can go ahead and still join.
Yep.
We do have people joining on the regular, so usually in pairs. I seem to, like, by the time I've checked, 2 more people have signed up, so hopefully...
Just random?
Yeah.
Just which one they get?
It is. I think the last 3 went to Team 2. So...
We still have numbers associated with them in our head. Team Love?
They have to say Team 1 and Team 2 because that's how I assigned them. And if I don't have a reference for who's Team 1 and who's Team 2, then I won't remember, you know.
Okay.
So people are still getting assigned it's Team 1 or Team 2, and there is a parentheses, Team 1, Team 2, behind which team you are.
That is not the order that they will be finishing in, though.
No.
Team 2 will actually be at the top.
We'll see how many blankets get done.
Do you need that many blankets?
No.
I think my prize will be that I'll have a bunch of things that I knit that I wanted.
I am actually getting pleasure out of getting that stash into a usable
I could
item.
see that. I could see that. I've definitely decided, like, looked at my stash and went, other than like this that I ordered for, maybe a heavier weight sweater would be more on the regular.
Yeah.
Although I do enjoy a good fingering weight sweater as well. So, if you're a designer, we have not sent out the email that we generally do to say get involved, because we've got the T-shirt coming up. We've got the teach a class submission form coming up as well, so that'll all come out. But I believe we've got February 10th I have as the deadline, because we want people to be able to plan what they're going to knit for the KAL. And so if you're unfamiliar, the KAL, you get bonus points for using a designer that's going to be in the designer showcase. So you definitely want to, the bonus is 50%, is that right?
For now.
If I design things, I can count all of that as 50% bonus because I'm in the designer showcase.
It has to be a released.
Well, it will be soon.
There you go.
Hey, that's a good motivation for me. Maybe your motivation will be to use the heavier weight yarns out of your stash, and mine will be like, I should get the design written up so that I can get my bonus. But yeah, no, the grams has definitely thrown me for a curveball, because I do knit a lot of fingering weight, like socks and sweaters and.
Yeah, are people knitting hats and like little cat blankets and dishcloths? They're getting some serious points.
I've been seeing a ton of dishcloths, because that cotton weighs a lot, and then there's the KAL and the Yarn Hoarder podcast.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Double dipping.
Yes. So yeah, super excited about this year. Now that the graphic is all set, it just seems like it's like, oh, and we'll put that on that, and we'll put that on this. And It's also very exciting and fun. I feel like I could, if I were taking on another career, it may be pretending to be a graphic artist in this case. I mean, S. Jane did the drawings, but it is fun to arrange them in unique ways and make graphics. I enjoy it a little bit. I would hope Amy would call like shenanigans if I wasn't doing a good job on it. So I think I'm doing at least an okay job with the palette in which I've been given. So
get you a shirt that says OKEist graphic designer. Okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay at it. I wouldn't say that I'm the best, but I'm definitely refining my skills each year. So. But yeah, we're super excited. I'm glad that people are super excited to join us and in the KALs and at the event. And we'll definitely be updating our the website and Ravelry soon. But we wanted to do the reveal on the podcast. The dramatics. I think that's all. At over an hour, almost an hour and a half. But when you wait a month, and you knit a lot, and you buy a lot, and you have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So there's still like a few people left in my blanket KAL that is running to the end of February. So,
okay.
And the qualifications for that are a little murky, because I had somebody enter a finished blanket who had only entered 12. Like, they were very lazy about entering each of their individual hexes, but they did finish their blankets. So we have somebody entered that wasn't in the original finishers from the first 2 years. But it checks out because she did submit 12 of them. So she started with us.
Yeah.
She just didn't get together to,
Yep.
And I understand that. I mean, you can knit your heart's content and just not want to fiddle with the posting of pictures.
Yeah. And I apologize if I missed anybody. I actually went to the month of December and recorded every single person that had their 12th entry in December. So if you entered before December with your 12 entries, so if you got your 12th entry in October, I missed you. If we had drawn your name in October, you would not have won a prize because you had 12 entries and it was the 10th month. But you still should be qualified for the 12 months of All Stars. So again, you're just going to have to go out into the thread and say, you missed me and I need to be entered. Because I'm not going to go through every single month to look for the 12s.
All of that to say, we have a lot of things wrapping up and a lot of things starting. So,
new beginnings.
Yep.
The old KO is going to
bye.
Bye, Uvta.